to Texas Politics Simplified, a weekly series where I break down Texas political terms, systems, and elections in a way that actually makes sense. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that button. Politics sounds complicated on purpose. And if it's ever made you feel confused or overwhelmed, that's exactly why we're talking about it. I'm Heather, and this is the Audacity to Care. Let's break it down. So before we even talk about the primary election, let's translate a few words that get thrown around like everyone just magically understands them. Our first term today is primary election. Now, this is not the actual main election. I know. The name is confusing. Of course it is. It's called a primary because it is the first stage of choosing candidates. Primary literally means first, but the name makes it sound like it's the main event, and it's actually not. It is the qualifying round before the November election. So in March, we actually choose who we want to be on the November ballot. Our next term is incumbent. Now that's just the person currently holding the office. Definitely not royalty and not guaranteed. Just the person already in that seat. Our third term is runoff. If no one gets more than 50% of the vote in a primary, well, we do it again. Yes, a second election, because democracy needs to be persistent. Next term is party primary in Texas. Did you know that in Texas, we don't actually register by party? You don't have to claim if you're a Democrat or Republican. But when you show up to vote in a primary, you do choose which party's ballot you want that year. So you either vote in the Democrat primary or the Republican primary. You cannot do both. And that choice that you make matters in that election cycle. Now that we're speaking the same language, what is a primary really? A primary election is how political parties narrow the field. So if 5 people are running for attorney general in one party, the primary is where voters choose which one becomes that party's official nominee. Then in November, you'll see one Democrat and one Republican, and maybe third-party candidates facing off. So the primary election is basically the qualifying round. But here's where it gets important. In a lot of Texas districts, especially ones that lean heavily red or heavily blue, the primary can actually be the most competitive election. Because in some areas, whoever wins the dominant party's primary is very likely to win in November. So if you skip the primary, you're skipping the round where the real decision might be happening. And that's not dramatic. That's just math. And if you've ever felt like, why does it feel like my options are already decided by the time November comes? Well, sometimes it's because the narrowing already happened. And that is why understanding primaries is so empowering and why it's so important to show up to vote in the primary election before the general election. Now let's talk about dates for this year, 2026. Early voting for Texas primary runs February 17th through February 27th, and election day is on March 3rd. So that's your window to show up to vote. And if you have any questions surrounding voting, voter registration, where to go, please ask. You're welcome to comment below. Ask anyone that you know, but be an informed voter. So why does this even matter to you? If you've ever felt confused about how candidates end up on the ballot, well, this is it. If you've ever wondered why some races feel decided before you even get there, this is part of it. The primary is where parties choose their direction. It's where platforms get tested. It's where incumbents can be challenged. It's where new voices can emerge. And understanding that gives you more control over your civic participation. Remember, politics doesn't get less complicated by completely ignoring it. It gets less complicated by understanding it. And when you understand how primaries work, you're not overwhelmed by the system. You're informed within it. This has been Texas Politics Simplified. I'll see you on the next one. Be sure to drop any questions you have down below in the comments, and I'm happy to answer them.